Alternative Assessment by Angela Lee Jan. When we want to measure the validity of students' learning, we need to remember that students' true performance can only be measured if we are able to tap their intellect, spark their enthusiasm, and support their efforts in learning. Although assessment can provide much information of students' learning, assessment must match instructional practice, reflect the characteristics of the students, and yield useful information. Among the three main models of assessments mentioned in Gottlieb's arguments, assessment as learning is the one that I'm focusing on here. In this assessment model, students have opportunities to reflect on what they have done academically and linguistically on a regular basis and plan to their future as learners. Students also have a chance to use our tools to monitor their personal growth and progress related to their individual learning goals and target. The benefits of assessment as learning are various, and with that I want to focus on this presentation are advancing intrinsic motivation and honoring the intellectual and life experience of students. Project-based learning, PBL. Project-based learning is a learning that enables students to solve problems and address issues important to them, their communities, and the world. Students are exposed to real workplaces and jobs, so they will develop career interest. They can also learn how to collaborate with their partners to learn problem solving and teamwork. How can PBL accelerate and assess students' learning? PBL connects students and schools with the real world. As I just mentioned earlier, students are working together on a project that makes them more actively involved in teamwork and problem solving. So PBL encourages students to be more engaged and learn that a real project engages their minds and their hearts, and it's just like a real world relevance for learning. So I think that is a very good way to motivate students in learning. And PBL also lends itself to formative and authentic assessment. PBL encourages formative and authentic assessment by doing the following. It allows students to demonstrate their abilities while working independently. And it also lets teachers have multiple assessment opportunities to observe students' learning. It shows students' ability to apply many skills such as doing research or doing the presentation when they are done with the project. And it also develops a student's ability to work with other students, to build up the teamwork ability and the negotiation skills with their group members. And teacher has an opportunity to learn more about their students as a person instead of just focusing on what they learned in the classroom. And it also helps teachers to communicate in many ways with students or with the whole team. And it can give more meaningful feedback to students. And that is very, very important in instruction and also in assessments. I have used this project-based learning a lot in my classroom. There are many examples that I can mention here. One of them is I let students to make a film when we learn a theme called renting an apartment. And during this project, I can assess students speaking, listening, writing, and reading. So students have to write a skit first. They have to find a partner, and they have to make their own skit. One is a landlord, the other one is a tenant, and they need to make a phone call after they one student make an advertisement about her apartment or house for renting, and the student who plays tenant has to make a phone call, and after seeing the advertisement on the internet, and they have to negotiate about the rent and about like the utility bills is included or not. So that includes a lot of linguistic skills. And also I let students use to make a poster when we learn about the basic information about the person, like a birthday, the birthplace, and the families. So I let them do a group project that they make a celebrity introduction and have to read information, then have to write and have to speak when they do the group presentation. And also I let my 8th grader doing a weather report, and we learn the weather unit, and they have to pick up one of their favorite city and to do the weather report, and they would need to pretend to be like a weatherman and to do the weather report of the city. So that includes a lot of reading and speaking and writing skills. And the standards that are linked to the Common Core standard, and since we're IB school, so we use a lot of IB criteria to do the assessment. So from my middle school students and my 9th and 10th school 9th and 10th grade students, I use them NYP criteria. And if students are in my DP program, I never use the DP criteria to measure their performance. PBL can easy to be linked to WIDA as well. From the Can Do standard, I think students can learn a lot from this project-based learning with their speaking and reading and writing, and any skills can be aligned to WIDA SS. There's no problem at all. That is my presentation. Thank you for watching today.